It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Hey.
Good morning and happy Monday to you. I'm Anastasia Palacios,
Good morning, I am Philip Simon.
and it is certainly a pleasure to be back in your company. I hope that you've had a wonderful, wonderful weekend and that you're looking forward to an exciting week. This, what is third week in January?
Second, third week in January, what is it?
The second week.
The
It's the
second
second
week.
week,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
just, even driving up this morning, I'm like, man, I'm sure there were more people last week Monday walking the streets. Come on, man. Come on, people. It's
Still a
it's
shady
only the
dog.
second week.
No, man, there's still some. When I passed Kidman Spade, there was still throngs of people
Okay, all right.
just out there walking.
I wasn't paying attention.
No,
My
you
bad.
were-
My
you weren't
bad. I
paying attention.
apologize.
You weren't paying attention. Listen, we hope that you're staying encouraged with those New Year's resolutions. But remember that you don't need a whole new year. You can start today. Whatever it is that you want to do, you can just get up and start doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been spending the weekend with my mentor and coach, Lisa Nichols, and
Oh,
just
yeah.
learning so much,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
as I talk to, my own students and develop my own courses that help people to improve their
Mm-hmm.
lives, I'm really just learning that there's just so much that we can change once we set our minds to it.
You know, you laughed at me last time I said it when we started the new year about a New Year's resolution every single day. And it's not that extreme for me, but at the same time, I do try to learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Try to experience something new every day. I certainly try to laugh every day because it's healing.
It is.
But listen, I mean, we can take the time, no matter what it is. It's a great big world out there, and just try to learn something new every day. I mean, there's just so much to
So
us, even so much of this tiny little country of ours, eh?
Yeah, so much
Best
to learn,
place in the world.
so much history, so much personal development to be had, and so yeah, definitely want to encourage you to do that today, and in addition to whatever other goals it is that you do have. We've got a great show lined up for you.
What did you learn about your Eagles yesterday?
That we are an amazing team that did extremely well, especially for people like y'all in the studio who didn't think we were going to make it that far. And that quite frankly, had it not been for the last few minutes of that game, that we would have won. But you know what, you're a hater. I'm not going to let you bring me down. And this is how you handle haters, guys. When you get into the office place and people want to be negative, they want to use that negative energy to just take you down, you just stay positive and encourage.
How about them
Let down.
Cowboys?
How about them?
I know them too.
What about them?
I think they fishing with y'all, but anyway. Yeah, great show lined up today. Great show, great
Negativity.
show. Listen, we got the CFA Society
Just
in
brush
the
it off,
studio.
guys.
They have an ethics training seminar upcoming. We'll also find out, Junior Junkanoo actually, it's going to be several parades throughout the Commonwealth of Bahamas over the next several weeks. Going to be talking with Henry Higgins about that. And we'll take a look at the recent WTO press conference. Star and I did the interview last week. We'll hear more from the chief negotiator. And of course, the conversation is picking up again, which is good. Which is good.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
Mr. Lang is bringing some new dimensions to this conversation about the WTO, really trying to have an open and transparent process. So that's always a good thing. We hope that you're giving your feedback to the various organizations that you belong to so that, of course, your voice is heard. We're going to be hearing about some more voices today. We've got BAF with us. They're going to be talking to us about your insurance needs and what you really should be looking at to make sure that you're covered this year. In addition to that, we've got Tamika Henry here with us. She's going to be talking to us some more about contractors. And, some people often make the joke about the con and contractors, but Tamika's here to kind of make that correction for us today. Of course, she'll be speaking at the Business Outlook as well. And so we want to remind you that you can still get registered for that also.
That's right, this coming Thursday. But before, it's been a really good weekend in terms of weather-wise. It's been a little cool, a little cloudy, but not too much rain. So it's a good weekend, good weekend.
Some rain on like late Friday night, early Saturday morning,
Yeah.
but it kind of like fit into the time when people
Exactly,
are asleep, so it worked out. Yeah.
But I think that's changing. Got a little cold front coming in. But here, Godfrey Burnside, that's what he does so well and for so long. Here's our first look with weather at sunrise with the G-Man, Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Phil, and good morning, Bahamas. Your first look at weather sunrise. We do have a cold front just northwest of the Grand Bahama area, moving towards the southeast. Should move across Grand Bahama early this morning, cross New Providence by afternoon. Little weather associated with, we could have 1 or 2 showers along that frontal boundary as it moves towards the southeast, and some cooler temperatures behind that system. Today, we look at a mix of sun and cloud with a few showers, mainly along that frontal boundary in northwest Bahamas, high temperature 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, partly cloudy and mild, and still a chance of free lingering showers, your low temperature going down to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. And your recent highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados 81 and 74. In Jamaica, 77 and 67. In Trinidad, 86 and 71. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, 79 and 70. Across North America, Atlanta, 46 and 38. In Raleigh, 40 and 32. Miami, 73 and 64. Dallas, Texas, 47 and 37. And Toronto, Canada, 28 and 13. Friday weather to look. We expect to mix some sun and clouds through tomorrow. Some clearing up, but by Thursday expect more clouds with a couple of showers. Temperature daytime ahead of that front will be in the low 80s. At nighttime in the mid-60s. Behind that cold front, we're looking at temperature dipping into low to mid-70s daytime, the upper 50s to low 60s at nighttime. That's what you're up in your first look at the weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Phil.
Thank you very much, Godfrey. Of course, we're looking forward to another great day here. The CFA Society of the Bahamas is an association of investment and financial service professionals whose mission is to lead the Bahamian investment industry by promoting ethics, building awareness, and fostering education in the local community. Very pleased this morning to be joined by 2 beautiful people here in Bahamas at Sunrise, young guns themselves, Anika Roll Benaby, president of the CFA Society, and Robert DJ Turnquest. I'm naming him this morning. He's the vice president of the CFA Society of the Bahamas. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Now, you know, every time we hear the term CFA, all we think about is, man, really, really, really smart people.
Huh.
But tell us, what is the CFA Society of the Bahamas?
CFA Society of the Bahamas, you nailed it. We are in a nonprofit organization of finance and investment professionals, most of whom are members of the society.
Okay.
We have about 65 members, and we are part of a global network of societies, 150 to be exact.
Okay, okay. And there's a society and then, of course, a CFA program.
That's right.
What is the program?
So the program, it stands for Chartered Financial Analyst Program.
Okay.
And what it is, it's basically a credential that's regarded as the gold standard of the investment management industry. And to obtain it, you pass 3 levels of examinations that contain a rigorous curriculum across the field of finance and all related subjects. And so it requires a very diligent course of study, and it requires as well work experience. You must have 4 years work experience to obtain the credential and make affirmations with respect to professional conduct. And so we have about 65 CFA charter holders here in the Bahamas.
That's interesting. I mean, you need 4 years of work experience, 4 years of experience within the industry, but you guys look so young. You know, I wonder who these 65 persons are. Well, but you've chosen a theme this year for your conference centered around ethics. You know, some people call that an old topic, but it's still very critical and important. Why did you guys decide to, you know, pursue that particular thing?
Sure. So ethics is really important to us as a society and the CFA program as well. So ethics, starting with the program, is a key part of what you study when you obtain the CFA charter.
Okay.
And as a society, our mission is to promote the highest standards of ethics and professional conduct.
Okay.
And so oftentimes in your professional life, you're in situations where, you know, the ethics really matters a great deal. And so what we want to do is put those sort of values and that sort of training so that folks can really know what to do when no one's watching.
I mean, you talk about those real life dilemmas in industry. I mean, we face them everywhere, not just in you know, small island developing states like the Bahamas, but certainly we see it connected all around the world because we are indeed a global, international, you know, society, general society. But you have, I guess, it's not just ethics generally, but you have other topics. You have guest speakers.
Yes. So we do a number of events all year round, financial literacy being one of them. But Sticking to this, we actually have Dr. Michael Macmillan coming from the CFA Institute.
Okay.
He is responsible for all of the ethics content.
Is that the parent body?
Yes, the
Okay.
CFA Institute is the parent body. He has a wealth of knowledge. He's worked in industry as a portfolio manager, as well as in academia as an accounting professor.
Okay.
And so we're quite lucky to have him come to the Bahamas and lead the conference.
And he's quite lucky to be coming to the Bahamas. This is branded as an interactive type of,
Yes.
is it a 2-day conference or 1 day?
It's a one day.
It's a one-day.
morning conference.
Morning conference.
Actually.
Okay, morning, but it's going to be interactive. What do you mean by that?
So the format is going to be a workshop. We're going to examine different cases
Okay.
and try to resolve these ethical dilemmas. And we're going to vote on the best course of action using your smart device. So we encourage you to bring your phone or your tablet. It's going to be very interesting.
Wow,
So
interesting.
we're
So-
looking forward to that.
That sounds quite interesting. What can participants hope to gain from attending?
Yes, so we really think that you'll gain an increased awareness of what it means to have the highest standards with respect to ethics and knowing how to tackle potential situations like you addressed in the industry. Because in reality, there are loads of situations that you can imagine. And so what we want to do is put case studies and situations in front of participants so that they can truly be equipped to succeed and to act ethically at all times. It's really important, as you mentioned, because the industry has really gone through its highs and its lows, but it's important that we put our clients first and act ethically at all times.
And when you say participants, is it just the 65 members of the society, or is this open to all and sundry? I mean,
It's open. It's open. So we encourage anybody, particularly those that work in the financial services field, to register, to attend.
Okay.
And really any professional, as you could imagine, could benefit from ethics and acting ethically. So really we open it up as broadly as possible, but in particular financial services professionals, because it's really important that this group of professionals put clients first and act ethically.
And
Okay.
we'd like to invite university students as
okay,
well.
okay, great, excellent. So give us the details, the date, the time. You say it's a half-day session, where it's going to be.
So it's going to be at the Malia Convention Center on the 24th of January 2019. We'll start 8:15 a.m. sharp, registration at 7:45, and we should end about 11:45. Breakfast is going to be served. The cost?
Yeah.
So we have an early bird special going on at the moment. Until January 17th, we're going to charge members of the society as well as anyone who is a candidate of any of the CFA programs $30, and for non-members and non-candidates it's $50. After the 17th, leading up to the conference, the charge will be $50 for members and candidates and $70 for non-members and non-candidates. So register early.
Yeah, not bad at all. And of course, the CFA Society does have a website, or
That's indeed correct. So we
Okay.
encourage everybody to check out our website for more information. It's www.cfasociety.org/Bahamas.
All right.
And all of the information pertaining to the upcoming ethics training is posted on our homepage.
all right, excellent. Anika, Robert, listen, thank you so much for joining us here on Bahamas at Sunrise. Not sure if it's your first, hopefully it's not your last. Wishing you every success in the upcoming conference seminar on ethics. We've been with the CFA Society of the Bahamas. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
2019 will bring risks and opportunities. At BBO 2019, presenters will show you how to reduce those risks and take advantage of the opportunities. Register today, call 322-1000 or visit tclevents.com. Connecting resources, maximizing opportunities, and transforming the Bahamas.
Good afternoon. First response. How can I help you?
I've been in an accident on West Bay Street. Can you send someone to help?
Yes, ma'am. A first response team will be there in 15 minutes. Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine, but a bit upset.
We're glad you're not hurt. Please, try to relax. Our team will take care of everything as soon as they arrive.
First Response provides immediate on-site service and support from the scene of an accident through the claims and repair process. And it's free to all Bahamas First insured drivers in New Providence every day for any type of accident. If you drive and want first response on your side, call 321st or visit bahamasfirst.com for the name of an authorized Bahamas First agent. First response can't prevent an accident from happening,
But it can certainly ease your mind when it happens.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're so happy that you're still with us. We brought back a dynamic woman. She was with us last week, and she brought back her impressive business partner. He's certainly been giving us all an education this morning. We're happy to welcome back Tamika Hanna. She's the president of EBT Services and the vice president of the Bahamas Contractors Association, and she's brought with us her dad and business partner, Ernell Hanna, who's the president of ER Hanna Construction. Good morning, and thank you both for joining us on Bahamas at Sunrise.
It's a pleasure to be here, madam.
A pleasure to have you with us. I always enjoy talking to people of your age, Mr. Hanna, because you've just had such a wealth of experience. How long have you been in construction now?
About 67, 68 years, something like that.
68 years.
I was 15, I'm now 82.
Wow. 82 and you look so good. Touch my hand, man. Let some of that rub off on me. Let me see if
right.
this longevity and good looking stuff can last for me. Mr. Hanna, that is a really long time.
Yes, ma'am.
And you and I were talking about some of the changes that you saw over that time, and you said really there's a lot more opportunities for education now in that
Yes,
field.
yes, ma'am.
Okay,
It is.
excellent. Now, Tamika, as his daughter, you've had the opportunity to see him kind of grow up doing this work, and now you get to come in as a partner with the company. What are some of the most notable projects you all have worked on over this period since your involvement and during his time as president?
Well, prior to me joining, my dad is a government-approved builder. That
Okay.
was the terminology back then, where this is where the contractors would get their notoriety from.
Okay.
So you can move from place to place because, of course, that would have been the first marker.
Okay.
And he would have built clinics in all of the Family Islands, police stations, lots of schools. But the most notable project is T.G. Glover, which is the prototype school for the
Okay,
government. So he had the opportunity of winning that contract, and I came along behind that and left
Okay.
what I was doing to assist.
Yeah.
But this in the history of ER Construction is one of the most historical projects in the Bahamas. So many persons do not know that the dynamics of that school was really a huge deal, and it involved the local architects, the Ministry of Works engineers, a very special team of Bahamian builders and professionals who actually, we had the opportunity of working with all of them, and I shadowed under my dad the entire job. And then we shook hands with partners from China.
Okay.
We were one of the first Bahamian companies to actually have some of the workers working with us,
Okay.
along with 150 Bahamian workers who had that experience for about 6 years.
Okay, that is excellent. I've been to TG Glover, and it is impressive. And I actually remember on the news when they wanted to restart the school and what they were talking about doing in terms of creating the space for kids to really just grow in this
Yes.
flourishing environment. And TG Glover, that's some big stuff, Mr. Hanna. I'm sitting across a giant of a man here, if I do say so myself.
The principle of construction is the same,
Okay.
whether it's small or large, but it's entirely up to the builder to organize his team so that he gets the work done.
Okay.
A lot of people, there are lots of contractors, lots of people who call themselves contractors, but it's a big difference between being a contractor and a builder.
Right.
I prefer to be known as a builder
Okay.
because it's a big difference.
Okay.
For instance, I can give you $10,000 and says, hey, go and build that place, here's the plans.
Right.
And you become a contractor. Now you have to turn around and find somebody to do the work.
Right.
God help you if you hire the wrong set of people.
Right. So over the years, I'm sure that you would have built relationships with the right types of people. But of course, you've been in this for a very long time. There might have been people who've come in and out of the industry over that time. Are there certain characteristics or qualities that you look for in the people that you hire to do work with you?
Well, we ask them certain questions: who you work for, how long you been doing it, blah blah blah.
Okay.
But the proof of that is, since I don't know you, come let me see how you're going to do this.
Okay.
And you put them to work.
Okay.
And the moment they start, you can tell whether he's an experienced worker or not.
Okay.
Can't fool no experienced people like me.
Yeah, I'm sure. Not after all the time that you spent doing
Wasting
this.
time.
But have you seen a lot of growth in the construction industry over these past years?
The construction is an ongoing thing.
Right.
The growth in construction, we learn a lot from the foreign entities that came to the Bahamas to work. For instance, when I first started, there was no steel fixers.
Okay.
And when the Sonesta Beach Hotel was built, which you don't know nothing about.
I don't, indeed. I've heard the name, but to say I know it is a different
that's
story.
That's where the Emerald Beach Hotel now stands. When that was built, the English people created a new trade, and it was called steel fixers.
Okay.
It's here today.
Okay.
And out of that, a whole lot of people went into business.
Okay.
And that's how that trade came about. Because it was the first building with all the steel and stuff, and we learned how to, I didn't work on it, of course, but we learned how to fix steel and, without having a set of engineering drawings, you'd learn from those English people. You know, there was a story in the Royal Readers about the speaking chip. Have you ever heard about it?
I have not heard about it.
Can I tell you?
You can tell me.
The story goes like this. As Mr. Williams, a carpenter, had gone to work one day without his square, he picked up a piece of chip and wrote on it that Mrs. Williams would send him that article. He then called a slave who was looking after a portion of the work and said, "Friend, take this, go to our house and give it to Mrs. Williams." So the slave took it, and he went to Mrs. Williams, and she gave him the square. He inquired of her, "How do you know this is what Mr. Williams wanted?" And she said to him, "The chip said it all." He went back to his job, he took a piece of string, he tied it around his neck, and he went through the whole yard telling everybody, "See the wisdom of these English people? They can make chip speak." That's Royal Reader. And that's verbatim.
That's verbatim. This is a well-read man, obviously. Tamika, you're going to be speaking at BBO, and you're going to be talking to us about construction. What specifically can we look for from that speech and that conversation with you?
Well, first of all, I'd like to encourage everyone out there listening, and especially our contractors, persons in the professional field, to be in attendance, because the forum is going to be very interesting. We have a lot of hot topics out there with construction now, particularly to deal with the Contractors Act, the construction board being formulated. Are there jobs here in the local environment for the contractors? How can we upgrade ourselves to, stay abreast with modern times? And most importantly, I think everybody's really interested in knowing about how do they embrace an international partner or another local partner to help give their own individual companies more value so that they can be in the game. We find that while there may be a lot of construction jobs happening here locally and on the Family Islands, that we don't really know about them.
Yeah.
There are a lot of construction projects happening out there, and so I think the communication line and the trending of contractors, subcontractors, tradesmen getting together and uniting all of our bodies as one in conversation and technology and education, that is going to be the way forward for us in construction in 2019. And certainly this government and the previous one, and let's just say the people of the Bahamas, we realize the value of construction in our own country. I keep tuning this, and this is my line for 2019. I've been to Turks and Caicos a million times. Love the place. It's a gem. I don't know how that place came away from the Bahamas, but if you want to come look, see what we can be and thrive, and every average Bahamian can become wealthy in its own nation with us harnessing what's here, construction is a way in.
Okay. I mean, I don't think I could top that. That's the perfect ending right there. You raised a very smart daughter, Mr. Hanna.
Thank you, ma'am.
A smart daughter, great business, certainly a lovely legacy to leave behind. And so we're so grateful that you came to share with us this morning on Bahamas at Sunrise, both of you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And thank you so much for those lessons from the Royal Reader as well. Tamika, looking forward to hearing you at the Bahamas Business Outlook, of course. Certainly a lot said there. And we're going to be back with more after this commercial break.
Ajax Cleanser, 14 ounce, now $1.39 at Solomon's.
WTO membership will bring benefits to the Bahamas. These benefits include increased economic growth and development, increased opportunities for Bahamian exports, higher employment, better income for Bahamian workers, lower cost of living for Bahamian consumers, increased choices for Bahamian consumers, modernization in government services, and better relations with trade partners. These benefits, combined with progressive planning and execution by our private and public sectors, will produce a better life for Bahamians.
So who really own the Nassau Container Port?
Boss, that's easy. The government.
I do.
I do. Thank you.
I do.
I do. And one day, he will too.
I do. Knock knock.
Here at the Nassau Container Port, we've diversified our ownership to give hardworking Bahamians a piece of the economic pie. And we'll continue to grow so that we can give you a consistent return on your investment. That's our promise.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Junkanoo is still the theme. It's still a little bit of the season. But we're talking Junior Junkanoo here this morning. Very pleased to be joined by the coordinator, Junior Junkanoo Bahamas. I like to call him Pastor. Pastor Henry Higgins. Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning, Bahamas. Good morning. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, well, you know, Junkanoo is in our blood. It's everywhere.
It's who we are.
It's who we is.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, but Junior Junkanoo, the dates have changed.
Yes.
You know, from what in years gone by. It used to be, I guess, prior to the main groups, but we've kind of pushed it off into the new year. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, normally Junior Junkanoo is held in December, but after consulting with the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Youth and the National Junkanoo Committee, we've come together and we decided this year we would put the parade in January. So this year, for the first time, the Junior Junkanoo Parade will be held on January 31st, which is a Thursday, and 6 p.m., and it's moved back to Bay Street.
Wow.
So our children this year will have an opportunity to be in the middle of Rawson Square.
Wow.
Showtime.
Showtime. Well,
Yes.
that's definitely showtime. That's what you call practicing for the big parade.
Yes.
So what would be the route actually if it's going to be on Bay Street?
The parade will actually start the same route as the senior parade, except we won't do Shirley Street.
Okay.
The parade will go from Frederick Street,
Okay.
heading east on the base and end at East Street.
And then, okay, so that's a good little.
Yes.
A good little
And it's a one-lap parade.
It's a one-lap parade.
Yes.
What are the times?
The parade will start at 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
And we hope to go finish by 10, 11 o'clock.
10, 11 o'clock. Okay, well, that kind of works out a little bit, especially with the business owners. You know, there's been so much concern in the past with the big
Yes.
parades and putting up with the bleachers and, you know.
Yes, well, this year, the bleachers will only be in Rawson Square.
Okay.
If you pass Rawson Square, you notice now that the bleachers are still up.
Still up.
So the bleachers never came down.
Okay.
And so everything else on Bay Street will be standing room.
Okay.
And so the tickets for the bleachers will be $10, and the rest of the standing room at this time will be $3.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun, definitely. So that's the 31st of January for New
30th,
Providence.
yes.
Of course, it's throughout the Family Islands as well.
Yes, we have actually 8 parades in the Family Islands, beginning with Grand Bahama on the 26th of this month.
Okay.
So Grand Bahama is
It's
actually the first parade. There are also parades in Abaco, in Eleuthera, in Kent Island, and also in Maguana, in Nagua, down in the south, of course, South Andres. We have parades going on there as well.
That sounds like, well, definitely that's a lot of islands. 8 islands, how many schools?
Well, that would give us approximately close to 100 schools participating in our parades this year.
Wow, definitely. Now, like the big groups, you have different, primary schools primarily, but what are the ages and the categories?
Yes, actually there are 4 categories. The preschools have a category.
Okay.
There's the primary schools, the junior schools, and then of course the senior high schools. Okay. So those are the 4 categories.
So ages go from there straight up to junior high school age.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Obviously there are prizes. There's not just the bragging rights, but there's also prizes.
Yes, there's also prizes. This year we are going to give our prizes in kind. So we normally don't give money for the parade. So what we normally do is the first place school would get a complete computer system, a keyboard, and that sort of thing. So, but this year, what we've decided to do from last year is that we would give them money in kind so they can go to some of the shops that we've agreed to and purchase actually what they need for the school. But we never give money for the parades here.
Right. So businesses are obviously open and welcome to participate in this. Is there still an opportunity for that?
Businesses?
Yeah.
Yes, there are businesses. There's opportunity for you to come on board as sponsors. the schools need a lot of help as much as they can. So we open up our arms to anyone who want to come and be a part. Of course, you know, Soul Bahamas is our title sponsor, and so most sponsors who come on board, they would not be the ones who sell what Saul sells, unless we have a special agreement from Saul. But we thank Saul because Saul has actually been with the program for 31 years.
Is
The
that
total
from inception?
31 years from the inception. Formerly ESO, they have been a part of the program from its inception.
Yeah. How has it evolved over the years? I mean, you know, Junior Junkanoo has definitely become a brand, but how has it evolved over the years? I mean, I don't think you had all of these different categories when you first started, but certainly from the preschool level straight on up now.
Well, you know, the truth of the matter, yes, from we began,
Okay.
Junior, we've had these categories, but what we've seen over the years is the private schools have become a dominant factor, and not only that, our family island schools who come from to Nassau, like now Tappan Bay Primary is our defending champion for the last 3 years in the primary school category. So the parade is not only Nassau-centric, but we also have family also come and be a part. This year, South Andrews District Schools will be here in the senior category, and Tappan Bay Primary will be back to defend its championship once again.
Definitely. What do you think is the biggest impact of this cultural expression at such an early age on our youth?
Well, I think first of all, the Junkanoo tells us, like you said, who we are. It gives us a chance to tell people where we come from, so our children will know where they're going. It's a strong educational component because it teaches our children to organize, teach them to plan. It gives them an opportunity to research, cognitive thinking, and analytical thinking. So I think Junior Junkanoo plays a very important and making an impact on our children, and so I think it's important for this program to go on, and for the last 2 years, our National Junkanoo Committee has come on board, and they are very strong in working with us, and so what you see now is we have poetry competitions, we have a logo contest, essay competition. These are all organized by the National Junkanoo Committee, and so they are doing their part to ensure that we leave an everlasting impact, an educational impact on our children as well.
Excellent. That's excellent. Again, tell us where, particularly for the parade on the 31st here in New Providence, but also elsewhere in the family house, where can people get tickets from?
The tickets will go on sale this week at the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, downstairs in our foyer. Tickets will be on sale, so we're hoping that by Wednesday, our tickets will be on sale. The tickets are $10 across the board. Those are for the beaches in Rawson Square only. The rest of the standing room, we're looking at a $3 ticket. So it's very inexpensive and very affordable, so that you can bring the entire family out to enjoy Junior Junkanoo.
Definitely a family affair at the National Junior Junkanoo celebrations. We've been with Pastor Henry Higgins. He's the coordinator for the Bahamas. Looking forward to seeing you there. Beginning in Grand Bahama on the 26th, of course, New Providence on the 31st. Additional information can be obtained from the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture. Hey, let's have a great time. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
I always wanted to come back to the College of Bahamas. I wanted to be a faculty. When the opportunity came for me to be Vice President of Operations, I said, well, let me try that first. It makes me proud because I was here before. I feel as if now I'm sort of like a beacon for those students who are here to say, hey, listen, I can actually be a vice president. I can actually be one of the big leaders at the university. I'm Ronnie Stevenson, and this is my UB.
Apply today at www.ub.edu.bs.
Wait, that's Omar Little from The Wire. You think everyone is Omar from The Wire?
Wow, it's really nice to meet a fan.
It's like he's right here. Are you telling you he's being all type of shows and stuff?
And you know, Rev Go Play plays a lot of good movies and TV shows.
Excuse me, can't you see we're watching something else? Rude.
Settle all your pop culture disputes with RevGo Play. Watch, record, and stream all your favorite shows wherever you are. Free for all Rev TV subscribers. Rev, you and us together.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're at the halfway point on this Monday show, and we hope that you've been enjoying it so far.
Good conversations as always. Impressed with the leadership of the CFA Society for such a rigorous career. So good to see these young folks at the forefront, Godfrey.
Yeah, man, it's good. Young people are stepping up the game, Phil, and certainly...
Well, we need to. Well, listen, can I say so we? I can still, listen.
He's a Gen Xer, guys.
I could say,
you can still say we.
I could say
so
we.
we've got 4 generations in the workplace, and each generation matters.
Which one am I?
You're Gen X.
Where's that?
It's closer to the bottom, so yeah, I mean it's not anymore.
Because so it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
So you have baby boomers.
I'm on 2.
Well, yeah. See, because so after you, it's better if we go after you, right?
Okay.
So after you, there of course your millennials.
Right.
And then there's your Gen Y. Well, Gen Z, which is what comes after me, which are the millennials, and then there's Gen Z, and you're Gen X, right? So.
Still sound a little far though.
So it's a little far, but I don't want you to be discouraged by that. Okay. You're in a perfect position of youth and wisdom.
Okay.
So consider it like that.
All right.
Listen, we've got more to come in the second half of the show for you. He's still trying to figure it out. The point is that you're valuable. It doesn't matter, Phil.
Okay.
You're valuable and you're worth it.
Good to see the young people doing their thing. Doing our thing, doing their thing, yes.
Their thing. More to come in the second half of the show. We're going to be talking with BAS some more about those insurances that you should be looking for this year so that you mitigate your costs effectively.
Well, all of it is part of it. I mean, you know, we talked about financial planning, but also this is a part of financial planning because insurances are so critical to what we do on a daily basis. I mean, insurance coverage, if you can afford it, it's necessary. So, you know, we're going to be talking with Dashwell Flowers this morning about planning for insurance.
Yeah, so I'm going to be talking with her, and in addition to that, we've got more from Shivago Line for you. Did a press conference recently on the WTO. Of course, we're following that story, and we're going to keep doing that as we draw nearer and nearer, just so we're making sure that you're educated and informed as always. But before we do any of that, we're going to take a second look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Generation X.
Yeah, no, Godfrey's not Gen X. Godfrey's a boomer.
Boomer.
He's a baby boomer. I'm going to break down these terms for you another time, guys. Okay. But right now, we're going to take a second look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Star, and good morning, Bahamas. In your second look at weather at sunrise, satellite pitch shows a little dash of clouds across the extreme northwest Bahamas, fin the Grand Bahama. That depicts that cool front is moving towards the southeast and through Grand Bahama earlier this morning and then to New Providence by late afternoon. In your marine forecast, winds ahead of that front, southwest to west at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet. After frontal passage, those winds will shift west to northwest at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over the northwest Bahamas, southerly at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over the central islands, and then east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over the southeast Bahamas. On Tuesday, those winds become northerly at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over the northwest Bahamas, and those winds become northwest to north at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over the central and southeastern islands. Then on Wednesday, across all the islands, north to northeast at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet. Your tides. You can expect a low tide at 7:26 this morning. Next high tide will be at 1:21 this afternoon. Low again this evening at 7:44. Sunset 5:39 this evening. Rises tomorrow morning at 6:57. UV index 7. Your water temperature 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Honeymoon phase first quarter. Your extended look. Expect a mix of sun and clouds through tomorrow. Some lingering showers. And then we expect a cool down after frontal passage. Temperature ahead, low 80s at daytime, upper 60s at nighttime. And then after that front passes, we're looking at the low to mid 70s daytime, the upper 50s to lower 60s at nighttime. That's what you're up in your farm look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Phil.
Thank you very much, Godfrey. Of course, you may have a clear idea of what your financial goals are for 2019. But is insurance a part of that conversation? We're very pleased to be joined in the studio by the Vice President of Sales and Agency Development, BAF Financial, Mr. Dashwell Flowers, always looking all dapper, man. Good morning. Welcome back.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, the entire family.
Thank you. Thank you. Financial services, financial goals, insurance.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's always on the end of it, but it's equally important.
Yeah. Sometimes, you know, what I've found in being in the business for some time, that people don't prioritize insurance, as a matter of fact. They don't see it as a necessity.
Right, last thing you pay if you could.
Last thing you pay if you could. But at the end of the day, it's the first thing you look for in those devastating times.
Right.
And there's a need for some funding for family or whatever. That's the first thing you look for is insurance.
What are the different types of insurance that people regular people on a daily basis? Because I know there are hundreds probably.
Well, the two main factors is they call it participating insurance, which is insurance which kind of produces some cash value.
Okay.
They say it's, you know, cash value provides the avenue if you live too long. And then you have retirement insurance, which is with no cash value, which is if you die too soon, but want to make sure that your families have some sort of income in the event of the so-called breadwinner death.
Both of those are life insurance.
They're both life insurance, you know, but the insurance industry has somewhat we have created since then for plans that kind of what you call premium refunds, give back some monies at the end of the day if you don't have no claims, etc., and the rest of it. But they're all life insurance. And of course there's the annuities and the rest of it, which is basically not particularly life insurance, but a cash deposit.
Right.
Yeah.
But okay, but generally speaking, why is insurance so important?
Well, you know, I've seen, through my experience, I've seen the families actually were destroyed to a sense after the breadwinner of the family dies, or after a wife who would have taken care of the house passed away and leave the husband and the children. We call it the restoration of dignity, that there is no money funds to, one, continue the mortgage or to pay off the mortgage or any other outstanding expenses which will incur at life. And then, of course, you have your goals that you want your kids to finish school, go and become a doctor, whatever you seek as a profession. And you realize that after the breadwinner dies, that $300,000 income per year has stopped. And therefore, there's no kind of funds then to for these particular bills. And so the entire dignity of the family is destroyed. The kids have to come out of school, the wife has to sell the house, she has to dispose of the property that her and her husband might have acquired, simply because she has to provide cash for the family to continue to live. And so I think sometimes people don't realize the importance, the significance of what needs to be done, or insurance, because, you know, live you may, die you must. That's going to come whether we want to or not. And there are going to be people who are going to have to survive after your death. I've seen situations where families have to actually go to the bank and borrow money
to live,
to bury their loved ones, and that's what I call a dead investment.
Yeah,
okay?
no doubt about it.
Okay, so and then that's wrong.
Right.
That's unfair for you to do to your family, your wife, or your to borrow money to bury. You should make those provisions. It's your fiduciary responsibility as a man to take care of those things.
Well, I tell you what, Chelly, I heard Chelly behind me when you said a $300,000 a year breadwinner passing away. I don't know if you were talking directly about you or him, but that's a lot. I mean, there are different types of insurance,
of course,
that go from.
but you know, just could imagine, Simon, where a husband who have his wife home, has 2 children, the wife doesn't work, and the husband has an income of $75,000 a year. The way things go these days, suddenly you passed away, that $75,000 stop coming. What happened to the wife?
Right. What do you do next?
What do you do next?
I mean, that's absolutely critical.
Okay, and so what we found that the Bahamians have still refused to accept the significance and importance of life insurance. I call it the restoration of dignity after the breadwinner dies.
So when you start thinking about this, is this, you know, with the life insurance, is there a cap? Is there a minimum age?
I think once you've hit the employment world, once you've hit the work world, you should start thinking about security. I always tell, and I made this joke the other day that, you know, some of us, when your kid born, your son born, some people go and create a bank account. Some of us pass out cigars.
Right.
You have to decide which one you want, because eventually that child is going to become an adult and need a jump start in life.
Right, definitely. I guess, I mean, obviously we've spoken about how Bahamians kind of regard or kind of disregard insurance. But once you have an insurance, do you kind of just stick with that for life, or do you periodically look at updating it, adjusting it, and what would be some of the factors that you consider?
Well, it depends on what you want.
Okay.
The good thing about a level term insurance or level premium insurance, if you buy it at age 18 of $1 million, the premium doesn't change if you get 55.
Okay.
It depends on what you want to acquire. The banks acquire life, actually requires life insurance for any loan or whatever you want to achieve. If you want to get a house, if you want to go into business, depends on what you want. So you should review your insurance package annually to make sure it fit the needs, because your needs change.
Yeah. And it's a good point that you said. Usually financial institutions or those lenders that you may, they require life insurance. So would it be wise then to have more than one type of policy?
It would be wise to have more than one life insurance.
Okay.
Plus, if you're a young man or young woman just finishing college or whatever, and you have one child, you want to make sure if anything happens to you, this child is taken care of at a particular age. Then you might have another child. So it's important for us, people say, oh, I have $100,000 of life insurance. The reality of it is no money, because $20,000 takes to bury these days. They want a party after the funeral, party before the funeral. That's about $50,000 gone. So you left your family with $50,000.
And what if you have a home? I mean, a mortgage.
And what if you have a medical expense
Right,
that you were actually lingering in the hospital for a while, has to be paid? And so I think Bahamians in particular have to be more cognizant of what makes up the family package, what makes up the financial package, the need for to make sure your family is taken care of for the event of your death. And some of us have this thing in our head that, I'm not worried about after I die. It is your responsibility to make sure that after you've passed, your families are taken care of, that you have done your due.
Right.
And this is where we fail sometimes. We don't understand. We refuse to accept the significance of what we should be doing.
So this is really just, people sometimes think insurance is this extravagant, unreachable thing, but literally there's so many different levels, and it requires a conversation. So you encourage people to really just come on in, have a conversation. Don't run away from the insurance.
Absolutely, have a conversation with us. You don't have to. If you have a plan, fine. At BAF, we are willing and able to do free consultation, no charges to you. If you have insurance with the competitors, we don't have a problem with that. We just want to make sure at the end of the day that you are doing what is necessary for you and your families.
Absolutely. That's right. Thank you so much, man.
Pleasure.
Good seeing you, man.
Always a pleasure.
Especially on Bahamas at Sunrise for Monday morning, man.
Absolutely.
Listen, you're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We've been with the VP of Sales and Agency Development of BAF Financial, Dashel Flowers. We'll be right back.
My name is Regilio Bethel. My position on board Equinox is mate, relief captain. I must say that during our travels and journeys throughout the Exuma Keys, we've had a few dark or dead spots. Basically, there was no service. They were just dark spots. We would basically be dead ship out in the cold without any communication. And it's been like that for years, and we've gotten used to it. But life has now provided us with a service which we can stay communicated during our entire voyages. And I've been waiting for Live to bring their service up to more coverage throughout the Bahamas, which they've done in an amazing amount of time. So yeah, I would encourage them all to get that service. It's an awesome service, no interruptions, and it's awesome.
Gatorade, fruit punch, lemon lime, and orange. 64 ounce, $3.39 at Solomon's.
To make informed decisions in 2019, you will need current facts and expert analysis. Find both at BBO 2019. Register today. Call 322-1000 or visit tclevents.com. Connecting resources, maximizing opportunities, and transforming the Bahamas.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Now, Chief WT Negotiator, Mr. Shivago Lang, revealed the Bahamas' goods and services offering last week, outlining the terms for our country's ascension to the World Trade Organization. Our Petura Burrows has that story for you now.
At a recent press conference, Chief WTO Negotiator for the Bahamas, Shivago Lang, revealed the country's goods and services offering. The goods offer details the reduction of various customs duties and stipulates which services would be closed or open to foreign countries should the Bahamas join the WTO. According to Mr. Lang, the services offer contains three important terms: none, bound, and unbound.
Where you see none, it means there are no limitations on market access or national treatment in the sector or mode of supply. So the entry reads none. It is important to note, however, that when the term none is used, there may be relevant horizontal limitations. And these horizontal limitations are limitations the country sets on a activity that extend to all sectors. So I'll give you an example of that. Even though we allow a foreign investor in the tourism sector, a horizontal limitation is they can only do so after applying to the National Economic Council and receiving approval from the Economic Council. And that applies to a foreign investor operating in any sphere of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. They have to have National Economic Council approval to do so. So that's what we mean by a horizontal commitment. Unbound. Unbound means that we are free. We are free in that sector or mode of supply to introduce or maintain measures that might be inconsistent with market access or national treatment. So where you see unbound in that space with respect to a sector, we're saying to the WTO membership, in this area, we aren't observing most favored nation status. We're not observing national treatment. So we're doing whatever we desire to do. Now, where you don't see none or you don't see unbound, that means that in that area you are binding yourself. Binding meaning you are committing to maintaining openness in that area with respect to most favored nation status or national treatment. So you won't see the word bound, but where you see unbound, where you don't see unbound or none, then it means that you're binding yourself to openness and access in that area.
Mr. Lang said that Bahamians should rest assured that this country's offer closely mirrors our current national investment policy.
We have not proposed to change very much in the way of our national investment policy. That's the first thing you'd note. The second thing is that it reflects the sensitivities expressed in the consultations with various sectors, such that certain sensitive sectors were taken off the table altogether. For instance, wholesale and retail trade, real estate, finishing work for construction, road transportation, etc. In fact, all areas that are reserved for Bahamians under the national investment policy have been omitted from the services offer, with the exception of one, restaurant services limited to specialty restaurant, gourmet, or ethnic restaurants or restaurants operating in hotels, resort, or tourist attraction, which is the current state of play in our national investment policy today. Okay? Two, certain construction services for which international expertise is required. That too is a part of our current national economic policy, national investment policy. These were not excluded from the offer as they tend to be of significant importance in attracting foreign direct investment or reflect expertise in limited supply at home in some areas, like physiotherapy as an example. And in some instances where joint ventures are being required to to embrace some of these specialized, say, medical services, franchising opportunities, environmental services, and hospital services.
As the Bahamas continues negotiations, Mr. Lang says that our biggest challenge is the loss of government revenue.
Naturally, the concern in lowering tariffs, which is the single most significant challenge in this process, is that of the loss of government revenue. It is important to note that this offer places that revenue loss at about $40 million. This is distinct from previously quoted losses of more than $100 million. The reason for this is that the previous revenue loss quotes were based on a scenario representing a more generous offer than this one. In doing this exercise, we ran through many scenarios to get a sense of what likely outcomes you would get in each scenario. This type of sensitivity analysis is important in economic modeling. We have run the model on the current offer, and the revenue loss is around $40 million.
For Mr. Lang and his team, negotiations are being done with vigilance, diligence, and consultation.
There's nothing more important to the prosperity of this country than the growth of this economy. It is in that growth that we get job creation, business opportunities, income growth, and the like, government revenue, so forth. So I would suggest that anything we could do to encourage growth is something that we ought to seek to do.
Petura Burrows, reporting for Bahamas at Sunrise.
How are we making Rev work wonders for you? We are doing it together. You told us what you want, and we've heard you. Want faster broadband? How about speeds up to 1 gigabit per second? Want shorter house calls? 2 hours max. We promise. Want to take your entertainment anywhere? Well, your Rev Go Play app is here. Rev, we've heard you. You speak, we listen. Rev, you and us together.
One thing, two things, blue thing, old things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
Thank you so much for tuning into today's show. We hope that you are leaving informed and educated and ready to take on a brand new week, of course, by being committed to action.
Being committed to action, being committed to knowledge, being committed to learning. Every time I hear the WTO and any of those alphabet soup type of acronyms that are out there, I'm just reminded that, knowledge is power. Mm-hmm. And, you have to strive to get your own, try to get your own understanding. So I'm going to encourage us all to kind of read, again, to Sydney and all those J years. The more you read, the more you know, the further you go. Let's get going, Bahama land.
Hey, before my time, Gen X. But nevertheless, it's a model I can certainly get behind, one that I really believe in, Phil, and that is this opportunity for continuous learning, and of course from learning from each other. And so hoping that you guys would make it a wonderful learning week, and that you would end the week, knowing a bit more, feeling a bit more empowered as a result of what it is that are willing to take those action steps that are going to make your life better. We're going to be back with more Bahamas on Sunrise on Friday, so we hope that we will see you then. Make it a great week, Bahamas. Bye.